Hello everyone, this is Jay High from Couch and Keyboard, and here I am again with another Smash player profile, this time for Cody Schwab, also known as I Be Doing Work, IBDW. So very clearly Cody has been at the forefront of Melee, being top 2 for the past few years, and winning the most recent Super Major, uh, doing very well at Genesis X3. I think people don't really know much about his background or even his career before quarantine and all that kind of stuff, before Slippery and all that. So let me kind of get into that. We have started in like 2015. Was also like upstate New York. Currently lives in Michigan, but was in upstate New York. Got started with this guy named Jake. Ended up going. His tag was JMook. You might have heard of him. But like started pretty modest. But Tri-State Smash is a very good place to get good fast. Started to get some good results. 33rd at a SmashCon, not bad. Um, and then we have like Smash Valley was a pretty notable one. Getting this Diz Kid Boogie win. And then 65th at Big House, doing pretty good there. This Smash Valley also being notable. Lost to this guy Zane, this Marth main. I'm sure they won't play that many more times in the future. But yeah, like started doing better. Doing all right. Shuffle. This was pretty good run here, beating some old school legends here, including Legend. Lost to a couple established players, but that's fine. When you're just getting your start, you gotta put your name out there. Won a kind of a smaller tournament, nothing too crazy. Top 16 at a CEO, which these weren't crazy stacked, but it was still good. Um, Tipped off, doing pretty good here, getting a win. I don't know if Drug Fox went Falcon here. But either way, got top 8 at a tipped off. This is not quite as stacked as the later tipped offs, but it was a solid regional event in Georgia, so did pretty good. Did all right at Genesis. Beat Lovage, Android Gatsu. Lost to this guy Mango. Mango's pretty good at the time. Still is. But also losing to Laud. We're going to see a bit of a Peach problem for Cody. Sometimes it's just kind of like one of those matchups that can be challenging. Did pretty good here. Didn't really necessarily get that many upsets. Lost to Zane again. Beat the real thing, Dreffin. Did lose to Sharks. A pretty good NC Ices. So not bad there. Getting a top 16 at this CEO, being Shroomed, a former top 10 player. Lost to Martha Falcon. That seems to be two of his tougher matchups. Getting, top 16 here. I don't think this was Junebug's DK. I think this is outdated. I'm pretty sure it was Sheik. But yeah, getting some good wins here and there. Won like a kind of decent regional, beating Swooper, J Flex, Pudgy Panda, Etai, stuff like that. Starting to do better. Top 32 at Genesis, won Phantom. Smash Splash 5, I would say, would have been, a pretty notable event. Beating Lucky Bananas Pew Pew You and going Game 5 with HBox as a 17th seed. Barely getting outside of top 8. That's pretty good. And that would be pretty good because 2017 getting 84th, 2018 getting top 50, and that would be a decent boost to the career. But completely got outdone by his next event, Smash Summit 8. Had a rough go at it in pools, but then beat S2J, Moki, Mango, Amsa, and HBox all in a row. I mean, this was one of the most unusual losers bracket runs we've ever seen. Like, an invitational makes it to where there's each path in losers, you can't just dodge someone, hope they get 33rd and then get to go past them. Like, more likely you're gonna have a demon in your path. Beat Mango, we've seen him be, take HBox to Game 5 right before. Good in the Fox Ditto. Struggles with Peach a little bit, Falcon a little bit. Like there's some matchups where, okay, if I say that he struggles in Falco, Peach, Marth, and Falcon, it's like, okay, those are just top tiers at that point. Like, yeah, he's good against Puff. He's decent in the Fox Ditto. Like, I'm not going to completely take it away to where he has no agency. But, like, sometimes, like, there's some matchups that he does lose in, and that doesn't mean he's bad at them. It's just, there's strengths and weaknesses. CEO doing pretty good. Had an early loss, but had a solid losers run. Losing to Wizrobe again, and then getting a top 8 of the SmashCon. This one wasn't... SmashCon sometimes isn't the most top-heavy, but, I mean, putting some good wins together. Doing solidly. Losing to 2 Falcons. This one, not the best loss, but getting third at a Shine. This was very good. Beating Chu Saint. They kind of knew each other for a while. Also beat Leffen, and they made Chu again. This was a very good run, losing to HBox in that Summit run back, losing to SUJ again. Seems like the Falcons, specifically this year, were kind of getting in his way. But, I mean, beating Leffen in the Fox Ditto, very, very good. Top 8 in the Big House. This Mewtwo King set was a heartbreaker. I think people were really determined to see, like, this, up-and-coming Fox really show him how it's done, and then M2K just... What in the world just happened? Like, that was so silly. But yeah, and did solidly. Won some regionals. This Genesis wasn't so hot. This Smash Summit did pretty good. Got that Wizrobe win. Beat Leffen again. Hax, Priscent, Spark. Doing pretty good in the Fox matchup. Beat Bobby's Falco. Lost to None, Zane, and Zane. Like that. To get 5th, that's that's a bit of a tough draw. Now Zane wasn't quite as dominant here, but still, pretty much the last big tournament before COVID happened. This was, pretty good run. And then we saw online, we had a decent, he was like probably 3rd, sometimes a little bit like 4th or 5th, depending on some Falcons and all that. But it was like, okay, is it Zane, Mango, Cody tier, or is it the Zane, Mango tier, and then Cody and everyone else? Like, he was kind of like that 3rd place. But I mean, either way, that was a really good place to be in. Got 5th at the Summit coming back. Lost to Plup, Zane, HBox, and Mango. Did get a Wizrobe win. 2 St. Axe. And then this is LSD Faith. And but I think was a little disappointed just by some of these losses. But 5th as a Summit is not bad. But then very soon after, a few months later, was able to win his first major. Getting this is not necessarily too crazy. Like having to play Crudo in quarters isn't like Crudo at 21st seed Crudo, not nearly the same kind of Crudo that we saw early last year. But still, beat HBox again, and then beat Plup twice. That's very good. Got on the board for majors. And again, he has to outdo himself. Not the best tournaments here and there, but Smash Summit 12, winning that without dropping a set. Swift, Pipsqueak, HBox, Leffen, Amsa, Zane, Mango. Like, yeah, when you win from winners, you don't get as many opportunities. But, like, this is a pretty good roster of wins here. And in 2021, they didn't really have a proper ranking, but Cody was definitely up there after this. 3rd at Genesis, this was J-Mook's breakout. So, like, this looks really bad, but, I mean, he got his seed. Like, he did fine. He beat HBox, beat None. So, like, I think that he was maybe, like, he was proud of J-Mook for sure. But people was like, oh, man, he got styled on in losers finals of a major, like one of the biggest tournaments. I think it's fine. Had some rough goes at it here and there, but won another Summit. Pretty big deal. Able to, get that run back on J-Mook, beat HBox and Plup again. You could say, like, okay, he hasn't gotten, like, that Mango win, which he did get at Smash Summit 8, but he didn't get, like, that. He didn't go through his hardest path, which I would say it's not up to the player to go through the hardest path possible. It's for them to win the set in front of them, and that's kind of how it goes. And then one Double Down. This was one that was pretty wacky, with Slug and Opsa having some good runs here, and Cody standing at the top of the mountain here. And was having a pretty good year. 2022 was really like top heavy, where Cody, like, yeah, this event wasn't super like mid heavy. It was like Zayn, Cody, and then kind of like everyone else. I think Joshman might have been there. I don't know. But it was like it was not nearly as impressive in terms of like the depth of some other majors, but it was still cool to see them play. And then third at the big house, not bad. Only losing to Mango twice. Beat J-Mook, H-Box, and Zane. This is kind of an uh, underrated run to get third. It's like this is a hard third place. Like you had to beat a lot of good players, and then you just lose to Mango, who lose to Amsa. We kind of developed a the top four of Melee for this year kind of had like this RPS, rock paper scissors type of relationship, to where it seemed like okay, like Amsa beats Zane, Zane beats Mango, Mango beats Cody, Cody beats Amsa. Like, and then in the middle there's like a little bit of intermingling, but it was like that was how it went a lot of the time. And this LSI didn't do too hot. Did get wins on Slug, Amsa, and Kadoran, but lost kind of early to some of these. Had a rough bracket. Wasn't able to win another summit, but did fine. Second place, I say fine. It did good. Another kind of run where you do the dirty work and someone else kind of beats you in grands, and it's like I win, and it's like did lose to Amsa here, but got the run back. Only losing to Amsa and then Mango twice. So definitely proving to have a very good year. Not the best Apex, did good at main stage, not the best Scruffed and Redemption Rumble. So ended up being fourth. This was like probably the strongest fourth in the history of Smash. Like this fourth place, or at least for Melee at least, like he did so well, but other players just did a teeny bit more. Like this top four was elite. Like people say like Cody's fourth place, like this feels wrong because he has such a good record against so many people, but like, other people just had slightly better. Gets second at this Genesis, loses to J-Mook on a big stage again, but another kind of run to where he's like, loses early to Moki, but beats Amsa to Saint Zane plus Moki. Like, he's having these losers runs where it's like, this guy's pretty good in losers. Collision got third, losing to Zane and J-Mook. We had a lot of Zane and J-Mook matchups here to where we kind of had the top three of like J-Mook starting to get up there. Like Zane, Cody, J-Mook was a really fun top three. Like when they were running things, like that was cool. But then H-Box and Mango and Amsa, like you just had like this top, like man, like this was such an awesome time of Melee, and it's still good. I still really like where Melee is right now, but like man, like 2022, 2023, like or even 2021, going back to like Summit 11 and stuff, like post-COVID Melee has been awesome, and Cody's no small part of it. Maybe people don't really like Cody and they think that okay, Z jumping and whatever kind of style or any kind of like what you think if I'm out of the game, whatever, but like Cody is a part of these tournaments that like kind of how HBox used to be like okay, he's someone to root against, not really a heel. Like I think that would implies they're intentionally trying to be unlikable or whatever you might perceive them, but I mean he's playing good, it's exciting, like it's cool. He's not timing out people. Like he's not laser camping all the time. Like he's playing intense. And this Battle BC tournament win, very good. Lost to Zane, but got the run back and then beat Amsa twice. Like he was kind of like him and Moki were kind of taking the wind out of Amsa's sails here. Like we could have seen Amsa do much better earlier on, had it not been for these foxes that kept beating him. Had a rough tipped off. Like had a rough stretch here, but one shine, beating Zane in the second set. Doing pretty good here. Big house. This was notable. Had like Cody's been known to have some early losses. Like had an aura loss early on at another event. Lost to Morse, and then had people said this was the craziest losers run of all time. It's definitely in that conversation. I mean, this is pretty nuts. H-Box, Amsa, Zane, Mango, Plup. Like that's very good. And yeah, like kept winning these tournaments. I think went like Falco or Sheik at this one. Finally got third place at Genesis, second place at Genesis, won the Genesis here. able to beat Crudo, Joshman, Wizrobe, Leffen, Amsa again. Very good. Looking, he's really stacking up these majors. Lost to Soon State early, but then ran it back. He's just like, he's able to go on these runs. Like, I mean, this is another really good one. Axe, Leffen, Joshman, Mango, J-Mook, Zane, Amsa. And like, if you're going to have anyone in winner side of grands, if you're Cody, you probably want Amsa. I mean, other than like someone that's like not like top 20 or something. But like, if you have a matchup, like at this point, you're like, yeah, give me Amsa. That's fine. Like, it has drop stats in here, but like overall very good. And then like Tipped Off did pretty good, but like lost to Bing and then lost to Morse again. This was a tough one. Did get an I'll snipe Amsa and then I'll dip out. But had some early losses. This was, people consider this to be one of the craziest upsets in Melee history. Because like Morse was way more established than Bing when this had happened. But like back to back these two, it was like, man, like there's just some matchups where it's like, okay, he's so good against Zane, he's so good against Amsa, like he's even like taking a lot of sets against Wizrobe against sometimes Falcon's been in a little bit of trouble, but like he's like getting a lot of those sets and getting consistent, and then it's just surprise mid tier. It's like that's how Melee's been. It's pretty surprising, but like had a pretty good run at some of these like slightly smaller events. Did lose to like Mango being in his way was a big thing, to where it's like Mango made his money from beating Cody over and over. That was the thing that kind of kept him. Like, yeah, he'd take an occasional Amsa or Zane set, occasional H box. He would beat Moki pretty frequently, but like Cody having this Mango problem was a challenge. One Egg Dog did lose to Moki. Then they had a tiebreaker and got back, and then Spark, Aklo, Amsa, H box, Amsa. Did not, Zane sometimes bowing out kind of early. I'd say Cody is like more able to do losers runs, but he doesn't always have to be in losers. Like sometimes he just goes on winners runs. Did lose to Zane here at Riptide. Dome Park was a crazy bracket with Nikki and Aklo and Moki and Joshman all going on these crazy runs. And, like looking back, like losing to 4 and 10 for 7th place, like that's not bad. When you have high expectations. Oh, I forgot to mention, 2023, Zane and Cody were so even that they had a tiebreaker of 1st to 10, which I personally, like, I don't like longer sets in terms of, like, comparing it to actual, like, top-level play, but that event was sick. Like, it was so exciting to watch. Whether I, agree or disagree with how it should have been handled, it was cool. And I think, a very awesome way for Cody to get number 1 for the year. I was rooting for Zane personally, but I do think Cody's career has been so impressive, and I gotta give props. So it has a few losses here and there. Now Invitational didn't do too hot. Not the best Genesis here. It was like not the best start for Cody. Like when I had my my quarterly ranking here for the first quarter of 2025. I didn't have Cody very high. Did win Nouns Bowl. Joshman having this crazy upset, but again, going on a really good losers run. One full house. Sometimes he just turns it on. Wins Tipped Off right after. Does lose the same, and then gets a run back. Gets that Mango win. That could have, gotten him 5th, but he was able to get through that, and the bracket opened up. What do you know? Not the best Gommel. Did lose to STJ and Wizzy, so that was kind of tough. But, and also had a Salt loss here. Second to Supernova, losing to Zane, so didn't necessarily get blocked by Mango this time. Did lose Riptide, again to Zane. Zane being a little bit of a roadblock, but won Cueva Cup over HBox and STJ, and then won Now Invitational. People were saying kind of going in that it didn't matter if Cody had won, Zane still had it locked up. But this was a really strong top 2 with HBox's 3. That was how it was for the summer. That's how it was for the end of the year. And Genesis was very peculiar. Most recent tournament Cody entered, lost to Swift, which we've seen Swift play actually Cody before and has done all right. It got ranked higher than Axe once, but this was very unusual, and people are considering this to be the best losers run of all time, which I kind of agree. Inky, Ginger, Zane, STJ, Hbox, Crudo, Wizrobe, Salt, Sunsei, Jmook, Jmook. That's crazy. He didn't have any AMSA to just win like he always does. Like, he had the hardest path to top 8 he could have possibly had. Like, Zane, STJ, and Hbox all being top 10 players, with Cody only one of them getting top 8. That's just a hard start, and then was able to, he's lost to Crudo before, lost to Wizard before, he's lost to Salt before. He's lost to all these players before, and he was able to continue to, like, okay, game 5, sure, game 5, sure, game 5, sure. Like, still clutching through it. And, like, we're seeing him, like, he is the best losers player of all time, but he also stays a winner sometimes. I was counting it out. I think he has, like, 16 major wins, which I found this list. This was made in 2024, so it's kind of outdated. But in terms of major wins, I think Cody is tied with Ken. Zane a little bit ahead. I think he's gotten a few more since then. But Cody is tied for 5th all time in major wins for Melee. Like, that is nuts. And, I mean, like, just looking at some of the wins he's gotten over the years, like, he is just filled out to where, like, even in 2019, he had enough wins to where, like, this kind of intro card doesn't even go to top 20. Like, he had so many good wins. And then even at the start of the year, doing very solidly. And then, like, yeah, this one, they didn't have rankings here, but, I mean, you can tell these are good wins. And then 2022, like he is just collecting wins like Thanos. And, very, very impressive. 4 wins on Zane this year. And then starting off the year, like, I mean, this is a pretty crazy. This is from one event. So sometimes going to losers early, you can really add, kind of buff up your resume a little bit. But yeah, so here is his records against Full House Siege participants. You see a lot of green here. A little bit of a few players he hasn't played, mainly being some of the lower seeds and Luigi's. Is down lifetime for Zane, having a little bit of difficulty there. But still very good. Has really given Hbox tough times. Moki surprisingly being the second best player against Cody. And Cody's had to take the last 5. So Moki was kind of having Cody's number for a while. And Cody doing much better against Jmu. Jmu kind of had that brief stretch of looking very good against Cody. But Cody doing very good in the Sheik matchup overall. He has lost to Aura before. He has a few Peach losses here and there. He has struggled against Falcons in the past. Only has a 4-3. They haven't really played that much recently. And yeah, did drop his set to Wizrobe, but is good at the Falcon matchup. Decently enough. Has dropped some sets here and there, but is comfortable in pretty much every matchup. Plays against Zane a ton, so he's like, if there's another Marth there, like Ossify or Kadoran or something, I'm sure he would be prepared for that matchup too. Although he has lost to Kadoran a fair amount over the years. But Fox Ditto, he's looking very clean recently. Only dropping 1 Fox Ditto to these 3 in the past year and change. Very few sets dropped to anyone besides Zane on this roster. So I think Cody is almost certainly going to place very highly at this event. Now there are some unknowns. Rad Monster is unclear. Wizrobe, they're 1-1. You can see that. I think there is potential for him to get upset and have to go on a loser's run, or at least have a more challenging run to get through pools. I currently think he's going to get second. Maybe you can fill in the blanks for the remaining player, but I think he has a really good chance to win. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, he's kind of said that he's not sure how much he wants to continue playing, and maybe it's like, oh, he's gonna let this be like his final hurrah. But I don't know. Like, sometimes if you're kind of getting out of practice, if your heart's not in it, like, I don't know. I feel like he's still gonna do very well, and probably win most of his sets. But I don't know. And recently, this got released. Him being the 1 seed, which I was kind of predicting. I predicted Cody and Wizzy to be 1-2. Does have, I assume how this is arranged, would play the winner of Moki Rat Monster, which is actually not a great draw. Recently, he's done good against Moki, but Moki still has had a lot of sets taken against Cody, so he knows what to do. He didn't just forget how to play the matchup. And then Rat Monster is an unknown. I mean, has beaten Cody online, but they haven't played offline. Rat Monster is going to be fresh off of potentially beating Moki. So I could see this being a bit of a tough matchup. Like, I think Saucy Mane is actually going to be a pretty good warm-up in bracket if he plays Rat Monster. And then Zane being on this side as well, potentially, to where if it's Cody Zane early on, yeah, Cody won the last one, but I could see Zane taking that. So I think that this part, assuming this is based off how it's arranged, I assume it is. Based on how that is, it's not actually the easiest path for Cody and winners. But I mean, or at least through like the winning part of Swiss. But I do think he's a lock to get winner side. I think that finding 3 players to beat him to make him in losers, that's going to be so challenging. Like, yeah, you could have Zane. Like, yeah, you could have a few of these people, but like for them to all be in this like position to knock him into losers, that's like 99 to 1. I just don't see it happening. But I think that final bracket, each set is more consequential. Like, you have each set matters more in final bracket. So even if he's able to, like, maybe he becomes like like you have 2 top seeds, then 3 through 5, then 6 through 8 in winners. So if he's like if he's like a 4 or 5 or something like that, there might be some challenges there to where a winner semis match is not favorable. And then, maybe he's down in losers, which we know he's a good losers player. But I do think that there are going to be roadblocks. We can't just expect Cody to just waltz in through like crazy. I mean, there's no Pikachus, there's no DKs or there are Falcons. There's no Samuses. Also no Yoshi, so he's going to benefit from that. But like, yeah, Falcons have taken some sets. Magi hasn't ever taken a set. Usually he's lost to like Mango and Ginger. But Magi's really good at the matchup. Like they're on kind of on opposite sides here, but maybe Magi goes in a run, gives them a tough winner's quarters. Like there's a lot of potential. So I don't think that Cody has us wrapped up by any stretch of the imagination. I think this event is wide open, and there's a lot of different ways that Cody can go. There's no just like guaranteed path where it's like I get to put my controller down and just think about my set 3 sets from now. Like this is going to be a challenging tournament for everyone. And even though we've seen Cody on a really hot streak, winning the last 2 majors previously, and winning the last full house, like having a really strong 2025 overall, with a couple weaknesses, but overall very strong. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how kind of his attitude is, how locked in he is, but I'm excited to see it. So we'll have to tune in and see.